So for anyone who doesn't know, and anyone who's first time, I'm Michael, one of our strength coaches here at Tufts. I'll take you through a warm up. Then we'll go through. Today's gonna be a big long circuit. We're gonna go through that whole circuit 3 times, and then depending on time at the end, we may have time for some stretches, but we'll see. So for our warm up, we're gonna start out with a warrior stretch. So that means we're gonna be in this one knee up, one knee down position. You're gonna push your hip forward. That way you feel a stretch in the front of your hip. Reach that same hand up and rock out. We're gonna rock in, rock out 10 times each leg. So forward, get a little bit of stretch, hip flexor, and then right back out. Get 10 and 10. I'll give you about, 10, 15 more seconds to finish that up. You should probably switch sides by now. So remember, push that hip forward, reach that same arm up. All right, as we finish that up, go ahead and stand up. We're gonna do a leg cradle next. So balance on one leg, grab your ankle, grab your knee, pull straight up. Then we're just gonna switch sides. So notice how my shin is at about a 45-degree angle, and I'm pulling up my ankle just as much as my knee. My whole shin moves together. When you do that, you're gonna get a stretch on the outside of your hip. Same thing here, 10 each side. These go pretty quick, so I'll give you a little bit less time. And keep going there, try to pull up as high as you can. And when you finish, drop back down to the floor. All right, so we're gonna get started here. We're gonna do our knee hug glute bridge. So plant one foot on the ground, hug one knee into your chest all the way. We're gonna lift our hips as high as we can. So a straight line, head or shoulder to knee, and then come back down. So up, pause, down. We're gonna do 10 each side. So up, hold, and then back down. Once you get 10, switch legs, and we'll keep going, same thing. 10 and 10. Take your time here. You want to be feeling your glute and your hamstring doing all the work, pushing that whole foot into the ground. So make sure your heel stays on the ground, make sure your toes stay on the ground. Remember, the more you pull that knee towards your chest, the better here. I'll give you about 5 more seconds to finish that up, and then we'll move to our next exercise. All right, so we'll move on to some kneeling rotations. So set up on your hands and knees, and you're gonna sit your butt back to your heels so our arms are out in front of us. Take one hand, put it behind your head. We're gonna keep our bottom elbow straight. So now we're gonna rotate under and then reach as far around as you can, keeping that bottom arm straight and turning your eyes as you go. We're gonna do 5 on one side and then 5 on the other side. You want to try to get a little bit farther around each side. Open up your chest and shoulders as much as possible. So 5 rotations each side. Okay, so moving on here, we're gonna do a Y handcuff. This is one where you're gonna be laying face down on the floor. I'll demo, kneeling up here so you can see me. But when you actually do it, your forehead is gonna rest on the floor. That way your neck is relaxed and not really involved in this. Start in this nice big Y position. Pull your hands back. We're gonna slowly bring our arms down, rotating our hands until we end up with our hands right over our low back, like we're in a pair of handcuffs. From there, we're just gonna undo the whole thing, rotate back up, and end in that Y. You're gonna do 5 of those. So go ahead and start. I'm gonna demonstrate 1 or 2 reps laying face down. Few more seconds to finish up. This is a better exercise when you do it slower. So we'll be a little bit patient, let everyone finish up. When you're done, stay on the floor and set up in a push-up position. All right, so we'll do our scat push-ups next. So elbows are straight, thumbs are under our shoulders, abs are nice and tight. We're gonna reach our chest towards the floor and then pinch or then push our back towards the ceiling. Chest to the floor, back to the ceiling. My elbows stay straight, I only move at the shoulder. Let's go ahead and get 10 reps there. These will go pretty quick. All right, once you're done with those, go ahead and stand up. Let's set up our feet nice and wide. For anyone who's been to one of these before, you'll know this one's our lateral squat. So you're gonna reach your hands as far out as you can, and you're gonna sit your hip back and down, trying to get everything stacked over that foot, and then we'll stand back up. And then we're just gonna alternate sides. We're gonna do 8 each leg. So a nice big reach over to one side. My off leg stays straight. I'm trying to stack my whole body over that foot. Remember, our chest is tall, your eyes should be forward, your hands should be as far out as you can get them. 8 each leg. I'll give you a few more seconds there. You should definitely be on your last couple of reps. Try to sink in a little bit lower each rep. Make sure that one leg is straight while the other side, if you're feeling the outside of your hip, doing most of the work here. All right, so moving on, we're gonna do our single leg balance. We're gonna try to get balanced on one leg. And once we're steady there, we're gonna close our eyes and try to hold this position. So we'll go ahead and close your eyes in 3, 2, and 1. So eyes are closed. Try to stay as steady as you can with weight balancing your heel, your big toe, and your little toe. So we have a nice tripod on our foot. If you start to fall over, just open up your eyes for a second, get in balance, regain your balance, and then close them again. I'll let you know when we're done. All right, go ahead and relax there. Let's start switching sides. So with your eyes open, make sure you're nice and steady. And we're gonna close our eyes in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Eyes are closed. There's a slight bend in your knee, which lets you, adjust a little bit easier than if you're on a perfectly straight leg. About 10 more seconds here. So try to stay as locked in as you can, stay as steady as you can. You can kind of reach your arms out to help a little bit if you need to. All right, all set there. We're gonna do a set of jumping jacks for 30 seconds. So I'll start my watch, try to get your hands out over your shoulders, and then we're gonna try to be bouncy off the ground. 30 seconds here, ready, set, and go. So try to get a lot of reps in. Trying to get our heart rate up a little bit before we start our workout. We're about halfway there, so keep going. Remember, get that arm over your shoulder. Try to really reach up and be as fast off the ground as you can. The bouncier, the better. 5 more seconds. And done there. All right. So that's gonna be our entire warm-up. So go ahead, grab some water, get a little bit of a drink. Make sure you can still see the camera though. I'm gonna demonstrate our entire circuit today. We're doing one big circuit, so this might take a minute. So just bear with me as we go, and then we'll start as a group. The way our circuit will work, we're gonna do 40 seconds of work. We're gonna do an exercise for 40 seconds. We'll rest for 20, and then we'll go right to the next one. So it's gonna work our way down this list. I'll give you a longer break at the end, and then we'll come right back to the top, and we're gonna roll all the way through. So our first one is a squat 1.5. What that means, our squat, we're just gonna set up toes straight ahead, feet about shoulder width apart, and a 1.5 means we're gonna go all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, and then all the way up. And that's 1 rep. So we're gonna do this for time. So it'll be all the way down, halfway up, back down, all the way up. All the way down, halfway up, back down, all the way up. That is our squat 1.5. Our next one's a shoulder flutter. So just like our Y handcuff, your forehead's face down on the ground, hands are out, palms facing down. We're pinching our shoulder blades back, squeezing them off the ground, trying to have as much tension in our upper back as we can in this nice T position. That is our shoulder flutter. We're just gonna constantly move for the whole time. Next, we have our alternating dead bug. It's an ab exercise. So we're gonna be laying on our back. Our goal here is to keep your low back pressed into the ground. So if someone comes up to you, they should not be able to squeeze their hand under your back because you're pressing your back down. So our arms are up, our feet are up. We're gonna go opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping that low back on the ground. We're gonna alternate sides as you go. When you reach out, long exhale, breathe out as you reach. Take a breath in at the top, and then breathe out again as you reach. That is our dead bug, our alternating dead bug. From there, we're right back to the floor. We're gonna do a glute bridge hold. So similar to our knee hug glute bridge, but now we're on 2 legs. So our feet are hip width apart, our toes are straight ahead, our abs are nice and tight, so our hips are nice and tucked under. And we're just gonna bridge up and hold this position for 40 seconds. You should feel your glutes and your hamstrings doing all the work here. Your abs should be engaged and your eyes are straight up. And that's our glute bridge hold. Okay, so moving forward here, we're gonna go for our yoga push-up next. And what that means, it's really similar to a normal push-up, but instead of ending in this dot position here, we'll do our regular push-up, and then at the top, we're gonna reach up and overhead, and then come back to our push-up. That's 1 rep. So full speed, down, up, and reach. Reset, down, up, and reach. As I'm going there, just like always with our push-ups, my elbows are tucked in, nice and tight to my body. That's our yoga push-up, okay? From there, we're gonna drop down to our side. We're gonna do one side of a side plank hip lower. So I'm gonna start on my right side. We'll do the left side later on. But for now, we're just gonna do one side. So we set up everything stacked, feet stacked, knees and hips are stacked. My elbows under my shoulder. And then for the full 40 seconds, instead of us holding our side plank, we're gonna dip down, reach up. Dip down, reach up. So if I look at you from the bottom to the side, I should see your hips are staying on one line. Instead of having any forward and backward motion, it's just straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. That is our side plank hip lower. We'll do one arm, and then later on, we'll do the other arm. Okay, so next one is an alternating forward lunge. So we can either go hands on our hips, shoulders, or head. I like hands on the shoulders. So we'll take a big step forward, and then right back up, and we'll switch legs. Notice how at the bottom, I'm getting back to that 90 degrees in the front, 90 degrees in the back position. So as I step out, we want to stop just before my knee would hit the ground, and we'll come right back up and alternate legs. That is our alternating lunge. We're almost there. Next, we have Y liftoff. So just like a Y handcuff, we set up in that Y position, forehead flat to the ground. But now instead of moving, we're just gonna lift off and relax. Lift off and relax, a lot like our flutters. We're only staying in this Y position. All right, those are our Y liftoffs. Now we're gonna do the other side of our side plank hip lower. So I'm not gonna demonstrate that one again. Then we'll move on to our good morning. So feet, just like our squat, shoulder width, toes straight ahead, hands are gonna go behind our head. And now I'm gonna hinge down, so reach my hips back, shoulders forward, until my chest is parallel to the floor, and I'll come right back up. So from the side, you'll see my hips go back towards this wall, and my shoulders go forward towards that wall. So hips back, shoulders forward, right back up. I feel my glutes and hamstrings as I go here. Well, rotate through that one. All right, 2 to go. We have our inchworm next. So I'm gonna start standing tall here. Basically, we're gonna go from this position here. We're gonna walk all the way out, and then walk all the way up.
as I go here, you should be getting 3 or 4 steps is all you need. Instead of taking 10 or 20 little steps, we want to take 3 or 4 big steps here. In and out. We're just going to keep moving in and out for our 40 seconds. Our final exercise is a squat jump. So let's go hands on our hips there. We're going to squat down, jump up, and we're going to keep going through this continuously for our full 40 seconds. Obviously, the faster you go, the more difficult it will be. Whew. Okay, so that's our entire circuit. We can all stand back up. We'll start with our squat 1.5. So remember, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds of rest, and then we'll take a break at the end. All right, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Toes are straight ahead. Our feet are flat on the ground, all the way down, halfway up, back down, all the way up. All the way down, halfway up, back down, all the way up. Keep going there. We have 40 seconds. As you're going, you want your chest as tall as you can. Your eyes should be straight forward, and your feet or your knees should be directly over our feet. So all the way down, halfway up, back down, and all the way up. We're under 10 seconds to go here. Try to keep moving. And done there. Let's start dropping down to the floor, forehead on the ground. We have our flutters. We're on that T position, squeezing our shoulders back. We're gonna go in 8 seconds here. So everyone gets set up, foreheads are rested down, arms are reached out, ready to squeeze your shoulders back. And here we go. As you guys are going here, think about getting as much tension in your upper back as you can. So really reach your hands away from each other and try to get them as far off the ground as possible. 10 more seconds here. Keep reaching back, pinching your shoulder blades together. All set. Let's flip over. Let's lay on our back. We have an alternating dead bug. So our feet are and hands are up, opposite arm, opposite leg, and then we come right back up. It's an ab exercise here. We're gonna go in 7 seconds. So let's start getting set up. You lift those feet off the ground. Reach your hands up to the ceiling. Ready, and go. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Your low back should be pressed into the ground as you go here. So if someone were to come up to you and they're able to get their hand under, then you're not doing a very good job there. So what you would do is you wouldn't reach quite as far. So you want to try to make sure you're in the start position, your back is flat, and if you can't keep it there, then keep the motion a little shorter so you can keep your back there. As you get better, you can go even farther. 10 more seconds here. Remember, when we're done, we'll stay on the ground for our glute bridge hold. All right, go ahead and relax. Just put your feet right on the floor. So your feet are gonna be hip width apart, toes are directly ahead. We're gonna go to our top of our glute bridge. We're gonna hold there. We have 7 more seconds. All right, so set those hips, ready, and here we go. So you should be feeling glutes and hamstrings doing all of the work. You can either, put your arms off to the side, reach them straight up, whatever feels most comfortable there. So try to keep your knees in tight towards each other as opposed to letting them fall out wide. Or knees in tight, feet being pushed down to the floor actively. You should be feeling your glutes and hamstrings here. All right. The one thing you want to avoid is you do not want to be feeling your low back. So if you are, adjust your hip position a little bit and find somewhere where you feel glutes and hamstrings. 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, let's stay on the floor. Flip over. We have our yoga push-ups. So here, if you're someone who struggles with push-ups, you can do the same thing on your knees. Where we go down, up, onto our feet, and then we reach. So either option there, either full length or on your knees. Ready? And here we go. Remember, our full yoga push-up. We come down, our elbows are tight to our body, and we reach up as far as we can overhead, pushing our feet towards the floor. Try to get as many good looking reps as you can here. Those elbows got to stay in tight towards your body, so they have about a 45-degree angle between your elbow and your chest. All set with those. All right, we're still gonna stay on the ground here. We have our side plank hip lowers here. So start setting up for a side plank. Elbow is gonna be directly underneath our shoulder. Your hips are stacked and your feet are stacked. Remember, we're moving straight up, straight down. Ready? And here we go. So up to the top, back down, back up, back down, back up. If you feel those bottom side abs doing all the work here. Our hips are in a straight line, stacked to each other. There's no forward and backwards, only up and down. Good. Try to keep moving through here. As you're going, if you get to a point where you can't maintain the exercise anymore, you can't keep going up and down, then just try to hold a side plank and stay perfectly still right in the middle. And that'll be slightly easier than moving up and down. So if you have to, go ahead and relax. You guys are done there. If you guys have to, that's how you would make that one a little bit easier. All right, let's stand up. We have our alternating forward lunges. So hands on the hips, shoulders or head. Take a big step forward, right back together, and then the other leg. Alternate legs for our full 40 seconds here. All right, go ahead and start those. Remember, big step forward, back to the middle. Stopping just before our knee would hit the ground. We don't want to smash our knee on the floor. As we go, we want to keep our shoulders stacked over our hips, even at the bottom. So as I'm moving here, my shoulders are always directed over my hips. We don't want to lean back or lean forward. We want to stay vertical the entire time. 3, 2, 1, done there. All right, we'll drop back down to the floor, foreheads on the ground. We have our Y lift off. So just like the flutters, but instead of being that T position, we're up in a Y with our thumbs pointing towards the ceiling now. 5 seconds until we start. 3, 2, 1, go ahead and start those. Just like our flutters, this one's about control. So reach up, really squeeze your upper back together, pinch your shoulder blades. Try to get your upper back as active as you can. We're halfway there. So remember, consistent pace. Think up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. We're under 10 seconds to go. And done there. So flip over to the side that we have not yet done our side plank on, our side plank hip lower, and we're gonna do that second side now. So for me, I'm on my right elbow. We're gonna start these in 3, 2, 1, here we go. So if you're someone who was struggling last time, try to finish out this set so we even it out, and next time, holding a side plank at any point is gonna be easier than moving. So maybe you do as much as you can moving, and then when you get tired, you try to finish out holding that side plank. After this, our last few are standing up. We'll finish off our circuit, and then you guys will get a little bit of rest before we go to round 2. Five to go here. 3, 2, 1, and go ahead. Let's stand on up. We have our good mornings. So hands behind your head, toes straight ahead. Let's slightly unlock your knees, and now everything else comes from hinging at the hip. My hips going backward, my shoulders going forward, my chest is nice and tall. That's our good morning. Ready? And here we go. Let's start those. Try to move at a consistent pace, keeping your back completely flat. So notice how even at the bottom, my back is flat and parallel to the floor. If we can't keep our back flat, then that's what you need to focus on here. That's the most important part. We're already halfway there. Five seconds to go. Almost there, maybe 1 or 2 more reps and relax, okay? We have our inchworm next. Remember, start with the hands on the floor. We're gonna get 2 or 3 or 4 steps out. Probably 3 or 4 is a good place to be. And then we're just gonna keep moving consistently for that full 40 seconds there. Trying to actually push the ground away from you. Ready, set, go. Let's start moving there. Remember, actively pushing the floor away from you as you go. We want this to be more of an upper body exercise, not so much like a hamstring stretch or anything like that. We're really looking for the shoulder to do all of the work here. After this, we have our squat jump, and then we're gonna take a 90-second break. Almost there. Maybe 1 more time in and out. All set. So stay standing. Let's go hands on our hips. Put your feet right where you squatted. So, just about shoulder width, toes straight ahead, and we'll get ready for our squat jumps. We're gonna go in 5 seconds. So everyone get set up. Ready, and here we go. So down, big jump, right back in the next one. Keeping my chest tall, getting as many reps as I can. So try to pick a pace that you can maintain for the entire time. We want to be at one consistent pace rather than going really fast and having to slow down. We're already halfway there. So finish this round strong, and then we'll get a 90-second water break, catch your breath break, and then we'll come back. We got 5 to go. All right, all set there. So go ahead, relax. I'm gonna grab some water. You guys can catch your breath a little bit. I'll give you a 20-second warning when you should start making your way back to wherever you want to start, and we'll start up round 2. Okay, here's your 20-second warning. So start making your way back to whatever your spot to work out in is. Our first exercise is gonna be our squat 1.5 or 1.5. So we'll start setting up for that one now. Toes straight ahead, feet shoulder width. Ready, set, go. So all the way down, halfway up, back down, and all the way up. Chest is tall, we're sitting straight down. Our feet are flat on the floor as you go. You're really feeling the quads, the front of your thighs doing all the work. Try to move consistently here and to keep rolling through these reps. Getting a lot of work in this 40 seconds. 12 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, all set. Let's drop down to the floor, forehead on the ground, and we're gonna go for our shoulder flutters. So first, remember, reach as far away from your hand, each other as you can. Get your hands out wide, and then from that wide position, that's where you want to be doing the, you're squeezing your shoulders back and then dropping back down.
That way we get as much kind of upper back tension as possible. Ready? And here we go. Remember, get a lot of reps in, nice and controlled. Up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. We're already just over halfway done with this one. When you finish, we'll flip over on your back. So stay down on the floor. We have 10 more seconds here. All set. Let's flip on our back. We're going to do our alternating dead bug here. So remember, heads rested on the ground, backs flat on the ground. We're going to alternate sides. We're going to start this in 7 seconds. So let's get set up. Our hands are reaching up towards the ceiling. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Ready, and go. Opposite arm, opposite leg. As you reach, that's when you want to exhale and breathe out towards the ceiling. Remember, only go as far as you can while keeping that low back on the ground. That's the most important part here. All right, so keep alternating there. When we finish, we're going to stay right in this position. So we have another 20 seconds before we move on. Remember, keep that low back crushing into the floor. Think about pulling your belly button down towards the floor. 3, 2, 1, all set. Let's stay on the ground. We have our glute bridge hold. So we're going to lay back, feet are flat on the ground. Your knees are going to stay directly lined up with those feet. And then all we're going to do here is bridge up and hold. We should find a position where we feel our glutes and our hamstrings doing all of the work, and our back is nice and relaxed. Ready, and up. We're just going to hold right here, actively pushing your feet into the ground. It's really easy to kind of get lazy in these positions and let your hips drop a little bit. Don't stay super active. Or you can push your hips as high as you can. You can actively push into the ground, and you get a lot more out of it. We have 9 more seconds now. Last few seconds. And done there. We're going to move on to our yoga push-ups. Remember, keep those elbows in tight to your body. We'll do our regular push-up, and then reach your hips up at the top. Kind of pushing your hands away from the floor away from your hands. 3, 2, 1, get started there. If you're someone doing the kneeling push-ups, doing a few reps of full length and then dropping down to the kneeling push-up is another good option if you're in between. So get as many full length push-ups as you can, and then you would drop down and do the slightly easier version on your knees. $15 more seconds here. We'll try to keep moving. Try to get as many reps as possible in. Keeping those elbows squeezed in tight towards your body. So our elbow stacks directly over our hand. One common mistake is people stacking their elbow out wide, and that's a little bit harder on your shoulder, and you're not in a great position to push. So bring them in, get them stacked over your hand, and now we have a straight, pillar to push on. And done there. All right, stay on the ground. Our next one's our side plank hip lower. Let's start on our left elbow. We have 5 seconds till we start. Ready? And here we go. Straight up, straight down. Straight up, straight down. Another thing to think about here is keeping your eyes directly forward, keeping everything in line with your body. We almost always want to keep our head in line, but especially on exercises like a side plank. 15 seconds to go here, so try to keep moving. If you're someone who has to, drop down, just hold that side plank, that's perfectly fine. And to try to keep holding that plank and staying active this entire time. Done there.
we can go ahead and stand back up for our alternating forward lunges. So remember, a big step forward, and then right back up, switching sides, keeping our shoulders over the hips and eyes forward. We have 5 seconds until we start those. Go ahead and get started here. So a big step, right back. Big step, right back. Nice and tall, shoulders can be pulled back, eyes can be forward. We are halfway there, so try to keep that pace you're moving at. Get a lot of reps on each side. With our forward lunge, usually a bigger step is better. Most people, it's more common people will step too short than it is for them to step too big. So if you're at the bottom, if you're not in that 90-90 position, you might need to step a little bit farther to get there. Even a couple inches will make a difference. Done there. All right, go ahead, let's drop back down to the floor. We have our Y liftoff. So remember to be up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. Using our upper back to do all the work. Ready, set, go. We're almost done with round 2. So after this, we'll move on to our side plank, and then we'll get up for our last few exercises. Remember, up, hold, down. Up, hold, down. Your thumbs should be pointing towards the ceiling. If you're reaching your hands as high and wide as you can, 10 more seconds here, and then we're gonna do our other side, our right side plank. 3, 2, 1, all right. Let's move on to that right elbow, or if you did your right already, the left elbow, but for me, I'm on my right. So remember, elbows under our shoulder, eyes are gonna be forward, and hips and feet are stacked. We can either put our arm straight down on your hip, whichever one works. And here we go. Nice and high, and then straight back down. Get as high as you possibly can, and then reach down towards the ground. High as you can, down towards the ground. Now, moving in all of these at a slow, controlled pace is gonna be better than rushing through and missing some positions. So make sure you're moving only as fast as you can have, the correct technique for. 10 to go, and then we'll stand up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand on up. We have our good morning. So feet are, hip width apart, toes straight ahead, hands are behind our head, and while you're there, pull those shoulder blades back. That will help keep your back nice and flat. So we'll hinge back, hips back, shoulders forward, and stand right back up. Ready? And go ahead and start there. Another thing to think about is where your eyes are here. So pick 2 spots. One, when you're tall and your eyes are straight ahead, and then one, for your eyes to look when you're on the floor. That way our head stays lined up with our body, and we can move as one unit rather than arching our back to keep our eyes in one spot. So pick 2 points of contact or points to look at. One in front of you when you're tall, and then one kind of on the floor when you're at the bottom. We have 7 more seconds here. Okay, let's relax and set up for our inchworm. So keep your feet right where they are. We're gonna start at the bottom and then 4 or 5 steps out to push-up position, and then right back up. Those are kind of our start and end points. Just moving for that full 40 seconds. Ready? And let's start those. Remember, this is our second to last one. So we'll do this one, we'll hit our squat jumps, and then we'll take our 90-second rest before starting our final round. Remember, keep pushing the ground away from you. Try to use your shoulder and your arms to push that ground away the entire time. It's an upper body exercise here. 5 seconds to go. Maybe once more out and in.
All right, all set there. So go back to that squat setup where your feet are about shoulder width, toes are straight ahead. Let's go hands on our hips, and we're gonna do our squat jump here. Pick whatever pace you can maintain the entire time. We're gonna have 5 seconds till we start. Ready? And here we go. So dip down and jump up. Try to move continuously, keeping your eyes forward and your chest nice and tall. We have 40 seconds here. You want to make sure you're jumping straight up, straight down. So if you notice that you're jumping forward at all or backward, one easy fix is find a line on the ground or the floor and put your toes there, and then make sure you're landing and jumping there every rep. So maybe every 3, 4, 5 reps, you take a quick check, make sure you're in the same spot. And if you are, awesome. If not, make whatever adjustment you need. All set there. Okay. My watch for 90 seconds is gonna start right now. Let's all grab some water. Let's catch our breath a little bit. We have everything one last time. I'll give you a 20-second warning. You got plenty of time, but I'll let you know when to come back. Okay, here's your 20-second warning. So start making your way back over to wherever you're gonna do this last set. Our first one's going to be our squat 1.5s. All right, let's get set up for those. So feet shoulder width apart, toes straight ahead. Ready, set, go. Remember, chest is as tall as we can. Oops, halfway down and all the way up. I messed that one up. It's all the way down, halfway up, back down, all the way up. All right, so keep going on that same pace. That's my mistake. And we'll just keep rolling through. So our last set. Remember that chest wants to be as tall as you can. And the farther you reach your hands away from you, the easier it is to stay tall. Coming up on 10 seconds to go in this one. 3, 2, 1. All set. Let's drop to the floor. Forehead's on the ground for our shoulder flutters. Remember, reach your hands wide, and then from there, up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. We're gonna start in 5 seconds. So set up if you have not yet. And go ahead and start. Up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. Remember, our palms are facing towards the floor. Our hands are as wide, as far apart from each other as you can get them. And your shoulder blades being pulled back, pinched together with every single rep. We're over halfway done. When we finish, we're gonna stay on the ground and flip to your back. Done with those. So let's flip onto our back. Let's start setting up for that dead bug, that alternating dead bug. So remember, opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping that low back pressed into the ground the entire time. Notice how when I'm moving, the arm and the leg that are not being used, they stay perfectly still. Nothing moves there at all. All right, let's go ahead and start here. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Let's get a whole lot of reps. Only as fast, though, as you can move keeping your back on the ground. So that's our limiter here. If my back comes off the ground, you need to slow down, maybe shorten your reps a little bit, and make sure that that low back stays pressed down. 15 more seconds. Then we'll stay on your back and just drop your feet to the floor for our glute bridge hold. All set there. So go ahead, lay back on the ground here. Feet are on the ground, toes straight ahead. Remember, our knees are gonna stay over top of your feet. And we're gonna go in 7 seconds. We're gonna bridge our hips up and hold there. Ready? And here we go. Hips nice and high. Stay as active as you can. So the harder you push your feet into the floor and the more you feel your glutes and hamstrings, the better here. You can be as active as you want to be. Try to really push that entire foot down, push the floor away from you. All right, keep going there. Coming up on 10 seconds to go here, last 10. So really stay active here, try to reach those hips high, push those feet into the floor, keep pushing and relax. Let's flip over. We're gonna go for our yoga push-ups. Our elbows in tight and then reach away at the top, whichever variation you're doing. If you're going on your knees, you wanna make sure you have a straight line head to knee. A common mistake is leaving our hips behind. So instead, hips are gonna be forward just like our glute bridge as you go. All right, let's go ahead and start our final set of yoga push-ups here. So our last round, so let's get as many good reps as we can. Keep pushing a little bit more. Last 15 seconds here. After this, we're gonna stay on the ground. I know we've been down here a while, but we have one more before we stand up. It's gonna be our left arm side plank hip lower. All right, yoga push-up is done. So let's move on to our side plank hip lower. So my left arm's on the ground. Let's get everything stacked up. By now we know everything. So our eyes are forward, our hips, our feet, and our arm is stacked. And we're moving directly up and down. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Nice and high, feeling those bottom side abs. Kind of movement is nice, consistent up, pause, down pace. Good. Keep going here. Try to get as many good reps as we can at that pace. And if you have to, go into just a normal side plank, holding that one position is perfectly fine. 15 more seconds to go. Last 5 seconds, maybe 1 or 2 more reps. And done. Let's stand on up. Remember, it's our last round, so we're almost there. We have our alternating forward lunge. A big step forward, chest is tall, shoulders are over our hips. We have 7 seconds until we start. All right, and here we go. So pick a spot for your hands, alternate legs, get a whole lot of reps. And remember, a little bit bigger of a step is better than being too short. Make sure the shoulders are being taken with you. So my hips and my shoulders move together as one unit. Everything stays together. Last 15 seconds here. After this, we'll drop to the floor. We have our wide lift-offs. 3, 2, 1. Great. All set there. Let's head down to the floor. Just like our flutters, our forehead is resting on the ground, but now we're in a wide position with our thumbs behind us towards the ceiling. Remember, it's up, pause, down, up, pause, down. Ready, set, go. Up, pause, down, up, pause, down. Reaching your hands as far away as you can that wide and squeezing your shoulder blades back behind you every single rep. Coming up on 15 seconds to go here, so you're probably looking at getting 6, 7 more reps in. Up, pause, down. Up, pause, down. Done there. Let's stay on the ground. It's our last one on the floor, and then we'll stand up for the final 3. We have our right arm side plank hip lower. You have about 10 seconds till you go, so catch your breath and get ready for our last one of these. Ready, and go. So up, pause, down, up, pause, down, up, pause, down. Keep going at a similar pace there. Try to get a lot of good reps in, keeping those hips pushed forward so we have a straight line head to foot. Everything is stacked up, nice and stacked, I guess. Final 10 seconds, then we'll stand on up for our last 3 exercises. All right, done with those. So let's go ahead, we'll stand up. We're gonna set up for that good morning. So hands behind your head, shoulders are pulled back, hips back, shoulders forward. Hips back, shoulders forward. Our eyes are forward at the top, and then they're straight down at the bottom. Ready, set, go. This one's all about hinging at the hips. The most common mistake is people turning this into a squat kind of motion. If your knees are bending a lot, you're doing it wrong. You want to push those knees back. So I have just a slight bend in my knee, but all of it's coming from this hip. That's how you know you're doing it right. If it's all from your hips, you can feel your glutes, feel your hamstrings, then you're probably on the right track. 15 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1, all set there. Let's stay standing. We have our inchworm. So remember, we're gonna walk out, about 4 steps out and about 4 steps in, really pushing the ground away from us, using that shoulder to push into the floor. 3, 2, 1. Let's go ahead and start those. Just move consistently for our full time here. Only 1 exercise left after this one. You're over halfway there, so keep moving here. Try to move consistently, about 4, maybe 5 steps out. Same on the way in. Final 5 seconds. Okay, all set with those. Our last one coming up here, it's those squat jumps. So we'll finish out, get as many reps as you can. Remember, we want to maintain our pace throughout this final exercise, and then we're gonna move on from there. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, here we go. Let's try to get as many good reps as you can. Remember, pick a spot on the floor. You wanna jump and land in the same spot every time. Good, keep that pace going. Try to keep moving here. It's our last exercise of the day. We're over halfway there. Three, 2, 1, and done. So here's what I'm gonna do. Just our last one, and we're done with our work sets now, our hard part. I'm gonna give you 60 seconds. Then we're gonna do a breathing exercise for a minute or 2, and we'll call it a day after that. So you have about 45 more seconds to catch your breath, get a little bit of water. We'll do a little bit of breathing, and then we'll get out of here. All right, let's start coming back, making sure you can see the camera. You guys can just follow along with me as we go here. I'll kind of explain how things go, and then I'll start my clock. But as I'm explaining, you guys can basically just start your breathing, and it'll start to make sense as we go. If you have a wall, what you can do is you can lay back and put your feet up above you. It's just an easy position that's nice on your low back if you have a wall. And if you don't have a wall, no big deal. Just set up like a glute bridge and lay on the ground. Either way, you're gonna do the exact same thing. Nothing changes there. So that's personal preference. What we're gonna do, let's take one hand. I have my left hand, I'll put it on my stomach. My right hand can go on my chest. And then as I'm going here, I want to use my hands to make sure my stomach is rising and falling and my chest is staying flat, staying in one spot. We want to breathe as much through our belly as we can. Think about expanding all the way out through our belly and then, contracting and breathing out as you go. So the pace we're gonna breathe at, we're gonna breathe in through our nose for 3 seconds, hold for about 4, and then out through our mouth like we're blowing out candles that are on the ceiling for about 5 seconds. So I'll count off. We'll go in, 2, 3, and you should feel your belly expand. Hold, 2, 3, 4, and then you should feel that expansion. Just stay put, and then out, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should get all the air out of your belly. All right, so I'm gonna start my watch. We're gonna do this for about 1 minute. I'll count out our first few to get everyone on the right pace, and I'll let you go on your own. All right, so in through your nose, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 4. Out through your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back in through your nose, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, 4. Out through your mouth, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going here. You have about 30 more seconds. Keep trying to breathe at that same pace. It's okay if you close your eyes. Just try to get relaxed as much as possible. All right, so we're gonna end the class there. That's everything we got today. So thank you everyone for coming. If you guys enjoyed it, we're gonna be doing more of these this next week or so. So they'll all be posted at that same website. Thank you again. I'm gonna end the meeting, so I will see you guys soon.